let's go! Decoy. Smoke. I'm throwing smoke. Throwing a flashbang. I'm throwing a flashbang. Grenade out. Grenade out. I'm throwing a grenade.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Yes. Agreed. Push, push, push. Throwing grenade. Grenade. Throwing fire, throwing a grenade. Yes. Flashbang. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Grenade.
Terrorists win.
Activating the bump.
Bomb has been planted.
Let's do this and get back in time for chow. Yes. Grenade out.
Terrorists
I'm
win.
planting the bomb.
Bomb has been planted.
Agreed. Let's go, let's go! Yes. Throwing a flashbang. Throwing smoke! Deploying decoy. I'm throwing smoke. Deploying flashbang. I'm throwing grenade out. Flashbang. Flashbang. Smoke! Smoke! Throwing fire. Throwing a flashbang. Laying down smoke. I'm throwing a flashbang. Grenade. Planting.
Bomb has been planted.
Flashbang. Throwing smoke. Grenade out. Grenade out. Defusing the bomb.
Terrorists win.
They will not stop our bomb. Of course, of course. Agreed. Time to hear our stories. Smoke! I'm throwing a grenade. Grenade. Flashbang. A grenade.
Terrorists win.
Affirmative. Yes. Yes. Go, let's go. Move. Yes. Smoke. Smoke. I'm throwing smoke. Throwing flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. Throwing smoke. Molotov. Flashbang. I'm throwing a flashbang. Grenade out. Incendiary out. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Throwing grenade. Flashbang. Molotov.
Counter-terrorists win.
Let's go have some fun after today. Laying down smoke. Laying down smoke. I'm throwing a grenade. Fire in the hole. I'm throwing a flashbang. Throwing smoke. Flashbang. Smoke. I'm throwing smoke. Laying down smoke. Grenade. Grenade out. Grenade out. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. I'm throwing a flashbang. Fire. Throwing fire. Deploying flashbang. Throwing flashbang.
Counter-terrorists win.
Yes. Let's go. Throwing smoke. Smoke. Throwing grenade. Flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. Yes. Smoke. I'm throwing a flashbang. Fire in the hole. Flashbang. Laying down smoke. Incendiary. Flashbang. Throwing fire. Grenade out. Grenade out. Throwing flashbang. Deploying flashbang.
Counter-terrorists win.
Move out. Make them regret this day. Throwing grenade. Smoke. Fire in the hole. Throwing smoke. Grenade out. Laying down smoke. Incendiary out. Let's go, my brothers. Fire in the hole. Smoke. Come on, let's go. Flashbang. Go, go, go. Throwing smoke. Grenade out.
Counter-terrorists win.
Of course. Move it. Smoke! Throwing a flashbang. Deploying flashbang. Grenade out. Throwing grenade. Fire. Throwing a flashbang. Fire in the hole. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke. I'm throwing smoke. I'm throwing incendiary. Laying down smoke. Throwing grenade. Throwing flashbang. Throwing fire. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Smoke. I'm throwing a flashbang. Flashbang.
Counter-terrorists win.
We shall be victorious.
going to be hard for Renegades to deal with. There's sort of almost like a rock, paper, scissors thing going on here, like that type of logic where you're trying to guess what the other team might be doing, but you can't really know. And are they also trying to do it? So then, you know, you just, at some point, maybe you just got to give up on it and say, what do we feel most comfortable with?
I feel like Kerrigan's just going to keep playing that spot. They haven't been able to flush him out. They haven't put any pressure on him whatsoever. He feels very safe and comfortable just sitting behind that train as long as he pleases and then just biding his time and picking his moment. And it surprises me with how coordinated we saw that original execute onto that A-bomb site in the 4th round for Renegades was, do they have a Molotov to flush him out of position? You know, maybe behind that smoke they had Yam jumping up, peering over it with the AWP, trying to look down that lane. Are they able to Molotov him out of there, force him either to aggressive or trying to run away? And that maybe gives Yam the opportunity to find that pick.
Yeah, actually, as someone who's spent a little bit of time trying to Molotov some of these positions out, actually behind the trains is very difficult because there's like a high ground and a low ground to the train, and if the Molotov lands on the low ground, you can sometimes just jump up on the ledge that's on the train and you'll be out of harm's way. Right. What's even worse is, from a terrorist point of view, it looks like you've covered all of the backside of the train, so you just run through thinking, yeah, you just think it's clean, or they jump up on the ladder and they hide there instead. Right. So it's actually somewhat difficult, but I'd love to see Renegades make a cool adjustment. I think now is a good time for it. They've gone for a bit of a force-up as well. It's AK, Galil, and 3 Tech-9s, but a lot of smokes here. Let's see what the Australian team can bring us after they've lost 5 rounds in a row.
This is a very interesting force buy. They still have 3 members with about 2,000 on their Sponge, JKS, and Az are all around 2,000. So here it is. Here's that heavy to pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, pushing. Look at Kerrigan now. He's uncomfortable right now. Out of position. He gets killed. He goes down to Azza, and Device going to miss a shot, but they can't really punish him for it. And he's sneaking close to the smoke. Sipnik's picking up one, a second one, going for a third. Sipnik's, he gets all 3, and it's down to Sponge now. You know, 1v4. That looks so good. Sponge does pick up the kill, but again, he's trapped in here, and there is pretty much no escape except for death, and Cajun's going to be the one to dish that out. So 6 rounds in a row here, but the change of pace, I mean, you did call it that was maybe a good idea. You can tell that Kerrigan immediately got caught out.
Well, they didn't have enough utility to really follow that up with anything. So because you could see they put so much emphasis, 2 players of Tech-9s rushing out into that lane just to force Kerrigan away, just to get him out from behind there. Don't let him be comfortable. They do get that kill. They trade it off, but there's nothing to follow up behind it as they progress onto the site. Zipnix makes a great play to begin with those 3 kills, but really no smoke from any of the other choke points.
Good early shot there, Yam trying to peek out into the courtyard, and Cajun, there's a double-up setup is back for CSM, and Sipnik's playing on the ramp here, does actually get caught a bit, and JKS will pick it up, and Kerrigan, he's gone down to Havoc, so it is down to a 3v3, still a lot of time here for Renegades, which is really going to help them now. TSM have a pretty uncomfortable choice to make here, because they can't obviously defend both bomb sites equally, and right now they're sort of 2B, 1A. What do you think about that?
I want to see them split up the AWPs, because Cajun B, he can play far back in the B bomb site, maybe get a pick as they enter the site if that's where he's going to do it, and he can just live. Device doing the same thing back towards the behind the old bomb train. He's got his eyes over towards the ladder room, and that's exactly where Renegades is appearing. They're going to be coming out.
Yeah, Device already been caught a bit there. They know where he is, at least. Dupree as well, but he does a lot of damage. Still needs to reload here or just use the pistol. Staying very close here. Device gets the kill. Dupree as well takes down Havoc, and it's going to be a lot to Azza. 35 seconds. He's in a 1v2. Was just in a 1v3, and he can't clutch it. Device will take him out, and they did listen to her advice. They did bring that 1-0 back there, and that turned out to be good. You can see Dupree breathing almost a sigh of relief there. That's 7 and 5. Renegades, they're really running their heads against the wall right now.
It's hard. TSM, in my opinion, one of the best teams at not giving up silly kills in late round situations. They play very patiently as individuals when they're into these 3-on-3s. You could see Renegades virtually in the bomb site, and still no one from TSN is over peeking. They're biding their time, waiting for their moment. So very smart team in that regard. So now this is a bit of a change for Renegades. They do have the Tech-9s. They have a lot of utility, but 3 members over towards Ivy. They're going to put some pressure, but Device and Dupree have a really good read on this. Both members right outside the Ivy entrance.
It's Cajun's turn to pick up a kill, and they thought the kill was close to the AWP, but Dupree was there, so really good 1-2 combo. Device sort of pre-firing with the Tech-9, which looks a bit funny. He's going to get that kill, and that will make it 8 and 5, so the dream of getting that 8 to 9 rounds on the terrorist side here for Renegades is not going to happen. The best they can do is the next 2 in a row, and they desperately need them. And the reply here, fight fire with fire and all that, Moses, they're going for a double up of their own.
Yeah, and that's going to be really interesting because they're already getting stuck behind these folks being slow paced, and when they've gotten into these slower strategies, they haven't been able to find anything. So they're going to try and just get these picks. Havoc's made his way out. He's going to take the peek. A lot of his angles are open, but he misses the shot. He had an opening. Yam even he gets taken out through smoke, so that's a disaster. Both AWPs down, and Dupree even pushes and grabs one more over towards Alley.
Oh man, not at all an easy situation. You need to get those opening frags because you can tell that TSM is so fired up now. One missed shot and they're going to punish you for that. Azza and Sponge are left, and what did they do here?
It's interesting that they buy the double op setup and they get aggressive out the connector. Why not buy the AKs if you want to get out connector early? So those ops, you can stand behind that smoke, try and find some picks.
Yeah.
But when you're that aggressive, that quickly out, you're getting smoked and flashes by all the early nades from TSM. With an op that's hard to handle, with AKs you can at least get out. You have a little bit more of an opportunity, more mobility.
I mean, they're trying. They're looking for that answer all the time. You can tell how much they are. They're talking as well, Renegades here, just to try and come up with one more way to win a round. It was 5 in a row for them initially, and I was really excited. It really looked like they were about to have a terrific first half, and then it's 9 in a row for TSM. They're changing the speed. They're trying to go quick, but Carrigan picks up a double kill. It's Sponge and Yam, and then a triple. Carrigan wrecking Renegades right now. Finally, Azza, who seems to be the only one who has a reply, comes up with a double, and now has to get the ace to make it back here. And Carrigan, how does he not know where he is? He's going to end up dropping, but the pre is there, and it's 10 rounds straight. A block of solid blue for TSM. Azza with 17 kills, outfragging everybody on the server right now, but it wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't. It was those first 5 rounds looked great for Renegades, but unfortunately, in TSM, once they were able to get all the smokes, all the Molotovs, they're able to stall out all the executes for Renegades, and there was no response.
Now, because we do love assigning blame in situations like this, how much of it can we assign to Renegades? They had 5 rounds that were fairly, fast-paced. Then, did they themselves slow down, or were they slowed down by TSM? How much of this is Renegades' fault, and how much is TSM adjusting pretty well?
Well, yeah. Renegades just didn't adjust. They didn't have an answer for once TSM got. I mean, TSM, once they got to that 5 rounds, they had the full bonus. They could buy any gun they wanted after that. They could buy all their nades, their smokes, and their Molotovs. Once it got to that point, it was obviously going to slow down. But at that point, that's Renegades. I liked the pause they took. They took it really early, especially in the first half. After the 10th round, they knew because they were getting stalled out by TSM, and they didn't have a good response at 5-5. So that's why they took that timeout. And I liked that decision, but nothing came from it. They did have that fast strategy to flush Carrigan out, but they had nothing behind it. That force buy after that pause was really weird to me. They had 3 Tech 9s and 2 AKs, and they still had 3 members with like 2K left in the bank. It was just, why not buy the utility, smoke off the connectors, smoke the bomb train, get your wall of smokes up.
Maybe there was an opportunity there. I agree, though. I do like the fact that they went for the early pause. I feel like if you take the pause when you've lost 7 or 8 rounds in a row, it's probably too late. Then it's very hard to get the team back on track there. About 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading into our second game here on the mainstream between TSM and Renegades. And we've already had the first game, which NIP and CLG went very close. It was 16-13 in favor of NIP. Now we're on train here, and I think TSM got the better of that first half. I still think Renegades can bring it back here. Good pistol round now. They win it. They bring it back to 10-8. If they win the 4th round as well, then we've got a real game on our hands. Yeah,
the only scary thing is Renegades always showing a propensity in that first half, not being able to adjust, not being able to fix some issues. They can get out to a hot start, but when TSM does their own adjustments and they find something that works on this terrace half, what is Renegades going to do then?
And look at Renegades. They're actually playing with only 1 armor, and then kit or grenades on everybody else. Not like TSM have a lot more. They've got 2 people with armor, and one of them is that raid boss build that we talked about. Caging B getting dropped at Tech 9 and then buying body armor himself. He's going to be hard to deal with. JKS playing close. He's going to try and put up the Molotov. He's really pacing it, and that's very hard to do. Great timing, though. They're going to try and push through anyway. And Cajun very low on health. JKS trying to use that ladder. That's a very cool technicality there, but he goes down anyway, and it's back to a 4v5 here. Bomb in the bomb site. Numbers being punched in. Currently, Cajun sneaking closer. He's not afraid to take the fight. Even at 20 health, he sneaks through and gets the shot on Yam. Now he's in the CT spawn. He gets caught by Sponge, but the hit is on Sponge. He's got to get it closer. If they can't defuse this bomb, it really doesn't matter. Dupree going to be taking down Havoc, and now it's up to Sponge and Azza. They pick up a Tech 9, but Carrigan coming up from behind. That's Azza gone, and now Sponge, no chance at all. Device takes the kill, and TSM, now they're close to winning this match.
Yeah, really unfortunate that Cajun was able to do so much damage coming through the fire. 2 players shooting at him. The first one initially far back gets Goosh, so he's got to fall away from the fight. But when you have that many nades as a CT team on the pistol round, your defense, your initial point of contact on the defense has to be able to delay them a little bit longer to get those nades to rotate in, because they don't have the armor to really survive a retake. They can't soak up too much damage, so you have to give your rotations time to come in and be effective with nades and smokes and Molotovs.
Well, this leaves them in a very, very tricky spot. TSM, they've got to be feeling pretty confident now. That's 11 rounds in a row if you count in the first half as well. If they could go 16 rounds in a row, that'd be actually very rare indeed. Cajun, did he spot Azar? I think maybe he did, but I'm walking right in there, and a good follow-up flashbang, or helpful flashbang there to bring him down. No armor on Renegades.
Right, and they actually had an interstat going on at the beginning portion of that round, so now they're rotating back. The TSM's already gained a great advantage. Device, pure CT spawn stairs, he's going to find one. Gets traded off by Havoc, so that's a good find. That's an AK-47 down. They're going to want to salvage that later on.
Yeah, if they could bring it back, especially one of the guys here with an SMG, that's going to give them so much money to work with. JKS and Yam are left. They need some more kills here. Just a couple, just to make this a bit more of a expensive round. It's a good shot through the smoke, and Dupree is down.
Yeah, pretty fortunate find, but not much more they're going to be able to do. Yam pushing up. He's got a player watching this angle. Kerrigan, he's going to get a nice headshot. So just one player left, and Renegade's not doing too much damage in this round. This is nice work from Renegades. They're even salvaging all the rifles, make sure they keep those. There's a good find, though. Now it's turned into a pretty good situation for Renegades. That third kill, that's big.
Yeah, really good job, and they only saved the Galil, not 2 AKs instead. It's also a minor problem there. TSM can make up for it if they have a really good round now where nobody dies, but that was no grenades and no armor really on Renegades, so I am impressed. I still wish they'd buy just one flashbang, Moses.
That really irritates you.
Yeah, it does. Oh, there's Havoc one.
Saves the day.
Havoc. Thank you so much, Havoc. That's exactly what I needed. Now, if it works now, it'll be confirmed. It'll be worth it. We'll see. He's already out here. He's lost Sponge, but trying to see if he can get some shots in himself. Dupree pushing out. Havoc does get the headshot on Carrigan. It's a good job, and here comes the pop flash in. Are they going to push behind it? Dupree will get the shot anyway and gets a double kill as pushing up from behind. Picks up an AK. Can he get the shot on Sipnix? And that's the bomb down. Indeed, he will. Now a 1v3 and sneaking up behind the train here. Device up on top with that SMG. Is he going to jump him? As a try to look for it, but it's just too much to handle. And no body armor means that aim punch is just going to kill him.
Yeah, what an awkward angle, and Device just toying with and running back and forth on top of the train before peeking. So 13-5 now for TSM, complete control of this map, and I want to see what Device is going to do differently with the AWP, because Renegades, when they were able to afford one in the first half, one round they had Yam jumping over smokes in that connector, just trying to find someone out in the open. Another round, Havoc pushes out that teammate very aggressively and gets caught out. So what's the difference? TSM is going to send the op over towards Ivy.
Well, Yam is going fairly aggressive here. Can actually boost someone on top of the smoke. Genius play. Device not even going to get a chance here. Sponge will take him out, and that's absolutely beautiful. That's a very smart play. And JK is pushing really aggressively up here. Going to catch Dupree and Sipnix as well. And it's double kill here for the Australian player. Great job in the 19th round.
Now they need to survive. They cannot let TSM do too much damage. This is the same situation that TSM was in the first half. How many kills is Renegade's going to give up here at the end of this? Yam's going to drop. He falls. He goes for the repeat with that AWP. And now Cajun. That gives him some space to work with to get into position to find an angle with this op.
Carrigan playing by Electric, still 55 seconds left. As they're going to get the kill. Let's see if Carrigan can do a little bit more damage. He's alone. He gets a headshot on Havoc, and he's looking for a bit more. Not going to get it. Good double kill from Azza. Now, when TSM were on the CT side, we were talking about how effective Carrigan was. How much can Renegades replicate what they just did? The boost up there, and then the aggressive push over at the B. How much of this is replicable for the upcoming rounds?
Well, it's tough because they got those early kills with, like you said, that clever boost over towards Ivy on top. They caught him off guard. They pushed up the inner ramp as well, the lower ramp with 2 players, and JKS found both those kills. So TSM, now that they know that Renegades likes to do that, they're going to be a little bit more cautious with how that aggression works out. So I can't imagine it being too successful over and over and over again. Maybe something they save for later on in the half. If they feel something slipping out of control, it's a good time, they'll bust it out again. But I expect this to be much more standard defense.
I'd love to see if they have even more tricks like that up their sleeves on the Renegades side. It'd be fun to see if they, because, you know, okay, one boost, but do they have more? Have they got other small tricks like that? I've actually seen a variation of what Renegades just did, where you throw the same smoke they threw at Ivy, and then you actually push through it. Before it even pops, you walk through it, because what the terrorists on the other side will hear is the smoke bloom, and then they'll think, well, they've smoked it off, so we can't push through, and then suddenly you're there anyway. Maybe even with a pop flash from your teammates. Just a small audio cue fake, but it can work quite effectively. So I hope Renegades have some tricks up. It's hard to win a whole tournament on tricks, but best of one games, you can.
Right, yeah, and especially when you're down 6-13, but you know, bringing out a couple of those gimmicks, a couple of those cheesy plays, you know, help you get back into the game. And now you can see Renegades winning that 4th round, but enough money was built up by TSM. They did go for another buy, so they have 3 AK-47s, 2 Tech 9s. So they're not going to give it away quite just yet. They know that this is a pretty decent opportunity for them to keep the pressure on Renegades in terms of their economy. And
just to catch everyone up as well, if you are just joining us here, the score currently 13-6. The way we got here was Renegades winning 5 rounds in a row, then TSM winning quite literally 13 rounds in a row before finally the Australian team came back and won a round. So the mental state for Renegades has also got to be just a little bit you know, pressured right now.
Yeah, that's a long drought, a long winless drought to have to suffer through. So finally back on it.
They are Australians, though. I think they're used to some of that roughness right there. I reckon.
Oh, either way, and this is. Now you're in that situation where this round is so crucial. If Renegades loses this, they really don't have an avenue back into the match because they're going to be forced onto an eco. Their money will be reset. That'll allow Team TSM to get up towards that 15 rounds. Basically, it'll be 15-6 after that.
Yeah, that is pretty much inevitable. So we'll see if it's going to be that way. Pause is still going on, so I'm suspecting this is not a sort of a tactical pause, but a technical one. Probably some minor issues. Do not worry, guys. We'll be obviously right back into it. Device flexing those muscles. Look at that. Pasha, someone's coming for you.
All right, he's got your number.
Someone should do a bit of a Photoshop here. There's a good opportunity, Reddit, if you're ready, right there.
Well, I'm surprised TSM doesn't have the, like Cloud9 has those...
oh, yeah, the...
cutoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone except for Shroud, I think he's the only one who doesn't want to wear one.
Right.
So I feel like he should step it up on that front.
Yeah, probably. They should sit him down.
Yeah. We're
going to need you to wear a cutoff this turn. This is the big one.
Team meeting. It's like a synergy thing, isn't it? You know, just go full Power Rangers on that.
Yep.
Or full Power Rangers.
Megazord.
Yeah, let's go. All right, we're going to be back into the game here. 20th round. And Renegades, they have a really, really tough task ahead of them, but they do have a bit of a chance for glory as well. If they come back in this game, that will be almost unreal. And a lot of Molotovs here, similar to what the Renegades were doing. TSM pushing aggressively in Yard. And look at this counter push coming out here. Sponge with the pop flash through the smoke, down on Ivy. Great play. That's going to shut Carrigan down, but they've lost the A-bomb side instead. So right now, it's a 4v5.
Yeah, and this is an alright situation. You can see JKS just ready to come down this ladder, but they find TSM to the bomb site. There's Sponge still flanking. He's going to find one more in ladder room. Takes him down. 3 kills for him so far in this round. Device got there very quickly, very aggressively. Not able to do anything with it, but him and Dupree, they're locking things down, stopping this retake.
Oh, wow. Dupree getting a lot out of that sniper spot, but Device will go down, and Renegades, they retake that site. Really, really good job. They managed to sandwich Sipnix and Popdog there. I think we may have missed like a hilarious moment, because I think actually JKS wanted to get down the Popdog ladder, and I think he was going to pop flash himself in, which, by the way, is something that so many teams are incredibly bad at doing. That pop flash is not that difficult to throw. Anyone can do it, but a lot of teams fail to do it anyway. I think JKS managed to flash himself, so that could have been Sipnix coming away with a pretty big lead there. Anyway, it's 13-7, and a lot of Molotovs here on the Renegades side, and nothing much on the Danish side. Smoke and a flashbang.
Economy's still low for Renegades because of all the damage. Look at how much more fast-paced TSM is there. KGB not even caring about that smoke or the Molotov. And then JKS, he doesn't get the kill. He takes 2 out instead.
Finally, Cajun there with a bit of a reply. Bomb. He's actually on Cajun, so he's run past the bomb side with the bomb. Dupree with a 1, with a 2. Oh no, what's going on? Almost a 3rd one. Dupree getting so close to it. Azza there just shut it down, as it seems like it always is. Azza currently at 22 kills, still top fragging in this game. Dupree and Carrigan both at 20, so they're close behind, but not quite catching up yet. That was great. JKS actually, if he doesn't get those 2 kills and Cajun is allowed to run back in, that's a very scary round for Renegades. A really good job on JKS, I think.
A really good job by TSM. This is something we didn't see out of Renegades. Through that losing streak that they had, they never did this. They weren't doing this much damage on save rounds or anything like that. They weren't getting those kills. Azure pushes up, grabs 1 over towards mid. What that damage has done is virtually, despite winning 3 rounds in a row, the economy for Renegades is still so weak.
And there's that pop flash that we were talking about. So great job actually on Azure getting out of there alive, because you can't turn away from it. It's so quick, and Sponge picking up a double device with the return, but now it's a 2v4. That was a very, very good sequence from both players. So Sivnix had the perfect pop flash that we were just talking about, but Azure actually countered it by just having really good game mechanics and map knowledge. He could navigate the map, even flash. So very important, tiny detail, but I love it.
And this is a pretty solid defense. Very different from what we saw to TSM. Was, you know, they wanted to play a little bit farther back. They had Kerrigan up close, but you can see Sponge and a teammate playing very aggressively at the choke point, not letting them get out. They're pushing down that train yard, not letting TSM gain any kind of map control early on.
JKS getting the 1, getting both of them, and Cajun and Device not allowed to do anything more, and 4 people surviving. So Moses, maybe they are listening to your sage advice here. Just getting more people to stay alive, building up that economy, and we're looking at 13-9.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. I'm actually surprised they had an opportunity to grab an AWP on the ground for Yam, but they didn't do it. It is going to be another eco out of TSM, and Renegades, they've got to salvage. They can't lose 3 players again. They have to get some bank built up.
It's all smokes though on TSM, so maybe a chance for a bomb plant here. They're going to go for the wall of smokes that Renegades themselves tended to use quite a bit here. We're going to see if this execute is going to at least net them a bomb plant. That would be, I think, the goal of this. Also smoking down Ivy. That was Sivnix all the way up from Brown Hole, so pretty effective all around. And now they're in the A courtyard, and they get that bomb down to Dupree, trying to see if he can distract a little bit. And there's the bomb plant. No one dying before the plant. That's unusual.
Right, well, it's just Renegades playing it safe. You know, knowing it's an eco round, they're like, just don't give anything up. We'll win the post plant. Give them the plant. As long as we don't lose this round. That one is what Colts, and now the retake is on. Azur's going to find 1 more. Cajun has a clever angle, but can't do anything. This is really good from Renegades. 4 players potentially going to survive this round. Sponge gets brought down very low.
Very good job. Yeah, only losing 1, and you're right, not trying to push the issue, just letting them plant and moving on from there. So I love that. That's a very good point you brought up, and it's going to bring us into the 24th round. With
so many players surviving and not trying to make a play through the smokes or anything like that, they also cordoned TSM into like a certain section of the map. They knew the spots that TSM could be in. You know, they're not going to let them push up and push down some of those lanes towards CT spot. They're not going to let them get up into heaven, so they didn't even have to clear those on the retake.
Well, a lot of Molotovs on both sides of the map right now. 4 currently on TSM. We'll see if they can come up with a cool execute havoc there. Pop flash and no pop flash. He simply blocked it off with the smokes, and that's a good idea. Something that usually, I think Fnatic is a team that won't throw that smoke inside Pop Dog, but they'll throw it outside where the door is. So just a little bit further back, and then they'll just cover the A courtyard. If we see Fnatic play later on train, maybe you guys will get a chance to catch some of that. Cajun playing very carefully down on Ivy, and I don't blame him. And this looks like Renegades have got pretty good control of the map right now.
Yeah, they do. Although Yam is... this part's a little scary because TSM actually forced Yam to fall back, and you can see the response from Sponge. He doesn't have cover from behind, so he's got to... He turns around on top of that train. So that's a nice smoke from TSM to change up the defense like that.
Havoc here. You gotta be a little bit careful when you move that much forward, because you actually can shoot through the ceiling or the floor in Pop Dog there from the terrorist side and CT side, so obviously it's a little bit more scary if you're on the CT side, because you're gonna get shot in the head, whereas you're gonna shoot them in the feet, so gotta be a bit careful there, but it's actually very penetrable over there. Now, 27 seconds left as the Danish team tries to execute. That's not a lot of time. We'll see if they can make it. Havoc here spraying down already, almost taking down KJ B, but he's gonna drop to Kerrigan, and Yam double Molotov. He's going to have to move. He went up the ladder instead. Bomb is not quite down yet. It's not going to go down. 10 seconds left. The Australians, they're going to win the round and make it to 11-13 here. Device trying to see if he can sneak out. He's got to either die or escape. Clock's out if they find him now. That would be a disaster. He's going to get the shot here. Clock, is it going to run out? He goes down. And that means no loss bonus. He's down to 700, and the rest of his team can buy. That's a huge impact kill at the end.
Yeah, that's mad massive that they got that. A nice defense, and it looked very, very grim as Havoc went down. Too many angles for him to worry about, and then the bomb gets planted. But Yam coming up huge out there. He was in the, he got double volleyed. It was forced up the sniper nest, and TSM had no response. They forced him exactly where they wanted to, but they couldn't get him out of the sniper nest.
Fire in the hole.
Wow, this has turned into a real game now. 13-11. When we were at 13-9, if TSM had won that round, they would have pretty closed out the game right then and there. But Renegades managed to just barely hold on, and now they've got a real shot at actually making a full comeback, and that would be ridiculous. TSM has taken 13 rounds in a row, and then it was 13-6, and since then Renegades have won every single round.
Yep.
Very strange game.
And Kerrigan's going to be the one who gets out first with that Tech 9, trying to find a little bit of a cheeky kill, but Sponge hunts him down. There's Device with that AWP, picks off Sponge and returns, so down to a 4-on-4 now.
Bit of an annoying flashbang, but no follow-up. Molotov as well. Havoc just trying to keep Cajun back over by Ivy. Bomb is still all the way back, and it's on Device with that AWP. So let's see where they're going to go for it.
It's interesting to me that Renegades has 2 members still on the inner bomb site, so they've just split this defense up. 2 members outside, 2 members inside. Not trying to cheat anywhere. Actually, as I say that, Azure tries to cheat towards inner. They think it's going to be an inner. This is a good fake from TSM.
Yeah, he's rotating a little bit back, so he's trying to stay very mobile at the moment. Azure goes down, and on the bomb site, Havoc going to go as well. Siplix with a double kill. Great opening. That is worth its weight in gold. And with that bomb plant, Renegades, what are they going to do here? They've got the money to try and fight it, almost all of them. Yam going to go down, and JKS, if he could save the rifle here, I think it's going to be a full buy in the upcoming round anyway. I think the rest could be dropped for, so he actually has to save this rifle. I wonder if TSM are going to realize.
They're not going to hunt. They don't have the money to go hunt for him down. They want to preserve their economy more than they're willing to impact Renegades. So JKS should get away with this for free. But that it wasn't even really a planned fake, I don't think. They just drew one player, got drawn towards inner. It was a bad read by Renegades, and just that little bit of misposition on the rotate. Yeah, I mean, that just did everything.
I could tell that there was a bit of discontent in your voice as you said they've got 4 people left and they've stacked it equally, so there's 2 on A, 2 on B. Why is that a problem if you're playing against a team like TSM?
It's not a problem. It's just interesting that normally you can have 2 players on the outside and you're going to have a player connector with those fast rotates to support each bomb site. And if you're going to split your defense up into 2 on 2, 2 on A, 2 on B, don't cheat the rotator before you have the intel. I mean, that was the biggest problem of all of it.
All right, so just maybe calling that before they have the information. Fair enough. Well, it works out for Renegades anyway here. They're at 14... Oh, sorry, for TSM, they're at 14-11 now. Just 2 more rounds and they're going to be able to make it work. JKS, again, aggressive and also down on Ivy. So sort of back to a similar setup as earlier for the Renegades team. But you can tell, and you said this earlier, TSM's going to be more careful now than they were earlier because they already ran into this setup once. Molotovs go down, JKS right at the corner, and Dupree sees it coming. So you're dead on, Moses. That's exactly what happened. And now they're a man up. Havoc going to try and see if he can get in here. Kerrigan goes down, so good return frag from Yam. But now Device is ready. Oh, look at that, Yam.
What a shot.
That was a really good shot, but also Yam trying to use the ladder mechanics there to get out really quick from behind the train, and Sponge will take down Cajun.
Yeah, but complete control of this A site for TSM. Sponge playing behind his smoke. He can't see anything going on past the smoke. He's going to try and throw a flash up so he can delay some a little bit. Havoc's in the connector. Azer's finally rotating over, but complete control for TSM, and as the smoke fades, Device finds Sponge, and the retake looking dire. 2 on 2 now.
They do have a lot of utility on Asa. He's got a couple of grenades here. Dupree, he can get Molotov down. Device going to miss the shot as well. Are they going to be able to use some of them? That Molotov is still in play. Bomb, is it being defused? Asa is on it. Device getting close, and he takes him down, and that should be the round. Havoc here, he does not have a lot of time. Gonna have to try and see if he can find Device, who's back here with the Tech 9. He's got the triple. He's looking for the quad. He's making it once, and Device, he gets the shot, and that's the quad kill. And the TSM gonna make it to 15-11. It's match and map point.
Yeah, very well done from TSM in that situation. Device, Yam gets that tray, but it gives Device that angle. He takes the opportunity to grab that angle and then picks off the opper, and as they go in 3 on 3, they have just so much control. They had players were in perfect positioning to pretty much control every single choke point as the retake came into play.
We'll see. The 27th round. Renegades now looking for 4 in a row to bring it to overtime, which is definitely doable. If they break TSM's economy, that might be it. Kerrigan quickly out. It goes down. Instant headshot by Azar, and that FAMAS And now Device trying to see if he can sneak in a follow-up kill, but Sponge is also here. If they get close to Device, there's no chance. Sponge jumping in. He gets the shot mid-air. Device and the pre-picks up JKS. Oh no! If he'd missed that shot, Device, he would have gone down immediately. Dupree from the back lines. It's long-range spray, but against the UMP, it just might work. Havoc alone in a 1v4, and it seems like TSM coming back in this game, and Cajun to get the final kill. 16-11. What a strange game, Moses. Some really long streaks here for both teams.
Right, yeah, there was no real back and forth going on. It was just teams with trading complete control of